Another day, another Pavy's daily hot takes. Actually, these things are really becoming really easy to do. Shout out to NBA for being a 365 day a year league, 24/7. News never stops. We have more news today. Allegedly, Chris Paul don't want to be a Rocket no more. Allegedly, he told Daryl Morey and them trade him, and then Harden walked in and said, "You got to pick between me and Chris." Uh, man, it's a it's an interesting dynamic. Ever since the Rockets played literally the worst basketball game I've seen from a professional basketball team in my life, like Game 6, when they lost Game 6. Now look, I didn't expect them to win the series. I said that the Rockets had to win in 6. So once it got to Game 6 and they didn't have a chance to win, I didn't expect them to win a series. I said it on the show. I said they have to win in 6 because they can't win in 7 because they don't have the unlitigated gall to walk into Oracle and shut the building down for the last time. I thought Kawhi and the Raptors had that because I thought they had veterans and Kawhi doesn't have a soul. So I thought the Raptors had a chance to do that, and they did. But I didn't think that the Rockets had a chance to walk into Oracle Arena for the last time and shut the building down. So I said they had to win in 6, right? So when they lost, it wasn't that they lost, it was how they lost. The man Steph literally had 0 points in the first half, and it's tied at halftime. The man Harden is an 87% free throw shooter. This motherfucker decides to shoot 55% from the goddamn free throw line. Gee, you got Steph I'm talking about it's set up for you, bro. It's set up for you. It's set up for you to be Harden. Set up the way you want it. And you just didn't capitalize. The 3-on-1 break, man. I see it in my nightmares. The 3-on-1 break. I think Gerald Green is leading the break. First of all, why is Gerald Green leading the break in the first place? I don't know. But the 3-on-1 break. Gerald Green leading the break. PJ Tucker, who is a 40% corner 3 shooter, doesn't run to the corner. He runs to the wing. Eric Gordon runs to the other wing, right? I didn't have an issue, with them pulling it out. I remember today. I was looking like, man, don't do no stupid shit. They pulled it out, no problem. But then they pull out the 3-on-1 fast break. They pull it out. And then Gerald Green takes a mid-range jumper. Like, the system strongly advises against mid-range jumpers. Why are you taking a mid-range jumper? Down the stretch, why is Steph able to do that? Why are you not doubling Steph? Why? On the go-ahead bucket, Eric Gordon not even guarding nobody. Gee, get the man. Get the man, Steph. Anybody could shoot the ball but that man. If Draymond want to beat you, let Draymond beat you. If Iggy want to beat you, let Iggy beat you. But not that man. It was the worst loss from a basketball team. I have never been more mad, hurt, and disappointed in a basketball team than I was with the Houston Rockets in Game 6. Chris Paul came up to the podium and said, "We lost and that's stupid." That is exactly how I felt. They lost and that is stupid. So, fast forward a couple months later, allegedly Chris Paul wants out of town. It's unfortunate because there's been all this talk about, the Rocket system can't win. It's not the system. It's nothing wrong with the system. The system is fine. It's the people in the system. The system did not make you mess up a fucking 3-on-1 break. The system ain't do that. You did that. The system did not make James Harden, who is an 87% free throw shooter, shoot 58% from the fucking free throw line. You did that. You lost by 5. He missed 5 free throws. The system ain't do that. You did that. The system ain't the issue. It's the people in the system. The system did not make you miss 27 straight threes. You missed 27 straight threes. The system ain't do that. You did that. You. That's not the system. That's you. It's nothing wrong with the system. It's fine. The system, in theory, it makes sense, right? Okay. They do isolation because they want to simplify basketball to one pass. Because when you simplify it to one pass, there's less of a margin for error, right? Okay, so with the Warriors, the thing I always say is run them off the 3-point line, make them start passing the ball, make them pass the ball 3, 4, 5 times. When you start passing the ball 3, 4, 5 times, you got long arms, you can get your hands on the ball, tip it away, get turnovers, or you make a bad pass, throw the ball out of bounds. If we simplify basketball, it's I'm going to get the ball in one person's hands, you're going to either shoot a 3 or you're going to drive, and you're going to lay the ball up or you're going to kick it out. It's one pass, theoretically, in theory, there's much less of an opportunity for you to turn the ball over. Like the system, there's nothing wrong with the system. It works. The system can work. It's ball control. I think that the one team that the shot clock reset to 14 really, really hurt though was the Rockets because it kind of messed with their ball control. Also, the way that they like to pretty much absorb the shot clock when it resets to 24, like that really, really hurts you, especially down the stretch. When it's under 2 minutes, if you get an offensive rebound and it resets to 24, I mean, like, you could wipe a minute of clock away, especially with the way they play. So I thought that, and also with Chris Paul getting older, I think he needs all the time he possibly can to get by somebody. But, so a lot of people have an issue with the way they play. They don't like the way they play. They don't like the way Harden plays. I love the way Harden plays. I thought that all season Harden was the best show in basketball, especially when he was on that 30 points a game streak. Like, I would tune in every day to watch James Harden play. I like the way James Harden plays. I don't have an issue with it. We just went through a finals and with Steph Curry flopping all over the goddamn court, fucking shooting threes and doing splits and shit. Kawhi getting fouled every 5 seconds, and you want to complain about Harden going to the free throw line. Right, Steph flopping. The only reason why Steph getting called on it or doesn't get the calls Harden gets is because Harden is the best person. He's better at drawing contact than anybody in the NBA. I think Kawhi is close. Probably like Kawhi would probably be the closest when it comes to drawing contact. But again, Kawhi's lack of athleticism, he has to create other ways to score because he's not as athletic as some other guys. Harden isn't either, I don't think. Harden's also like undersized. I think he's listed at 6'6". He's really more like 6'4". I think I looked at this. I think with shoes he's 6'5". Without shoes he's like 6'4" and like a quarter or something like that, or like 6'4" and 3/4 or something like that. So he's an undersized two guard. But when it comes to trading Chris Paul, I mean, if Chris Paul wants to be traded, I mean, I guess you explore your options, but I just don't know, like, with Chris Paul's contract and with his age, he right now, besides like John Wall, and I'm only saying John Wall because he's hurt and he can't actually, perform. Him and John Wall probably have the worst contracts in basketball, and it's not even that Chris Paul isn't good. Growing up, Chris Paul is always one of my favorite players. I still think Chris Paul can be very effective. I think that in the Warrior series, I don't think his offense was that great, but I do think that he played the best defense he possibly could. He's still a really good defender. Obviously, he's not, all NBA level anymore. Like, age takes something from all of us, age and injuries. But he's still a solid defender. Like, nobody for the most part gives Chris Paul complete drugs. He can still hold his own. But I don't like. I just don't know what team would bite on taking Chris Paul's contract. Like, I mean, I would have to. Like, I'm actually stumped on this one. Usually, I can think of a place that could use somebody, but I don't really know who could really use a Chris Paul. Like, I'm not 100% sure of any team that could really or would make that trade. God, I hope the Lakers don't do it. I don't think they would. I mean, I guess it would make sense theoretically, but no, I don't think you need to absorb $41 million in cap. Also, he's the hamstring is always an issue. Like, you can always count on a Chris Paul pulled hamstring at some point in time during the season. So I would hope the Lakers wouldn't do it. I know on the show on the show one time we brought up the Sixers, but that really wouldn't make much sense. I don't know a team that could use Chris Paul. Honestly, I think that he can still work with the Rockets. Like again, I don't think the system is wrong. I think the system works. I think Mike D'Antoni has done an amazing job. I just think that for them, it's just execution in moments. It's them. They fuck up. There's nothing wrong with the system. There's nothing wrong with the team. I thought this year the Rockets had a better team than even what they had last year. Now, I don't think they really still replaced Ariza. I think that is a loss that they're still suffering from. that they suffered from through all of last year. But again, you didn't have Austin Rivers last year. You didn't have a Kenneth Faried who didn't really play in the playoffs, and I don't know why. But throughout the season, he looked like the Manimal that was on the USA team. You know, he looked like the Manimal that got paid $44 million from Denver. That's the Manimal that he looked like when he first got to Houston because of all the injuries. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with what they have in Houston. I just think that for one, Capella has to get better. He's also he's part of the catch and dunk crew. He doesn't really have a post move he can put to memory right now. He needs to go out there and get better. I mean, shit, get a jump hook, something. Right now, if he can't catch a lob or if he can't roll to the rim and get a bounce pass, he's pretty much rendered ineffective offensively. I like Austin. Re-sign Austin. I honestly thought that Austin Rivers should have more ball handling responsibilities, and they should run more ISOs for Austin Rivers. I said that I think before the start of Game 6. I was like, they should have given Austin Rivers the ball more. I think that for one, Austin is like 6'4", so he has better size than CP3. He's faster than CP3. I think that in some situations, it's better to utilize Austin Rivers in those isolations than you even would CP3. I think that's a person you have to look to keep. I like Daniel House. I think Daniel House can grow into a solid starter. He's never going to be like a star, but a solid starter. But yeah, I like what Houston has. I don't know. Does Harden and Chris Paul really dislike each other that bad? Do they really disagree on style of play that much? Because the system works. It's not the system's fault. The system didn't lose them Game 6. They lost them Game 6. The system ain't make Harden miss them 5 free throws to lose by 5 points. The system didn't make P.J. Tucker, Gerald Green, and Eric Gordon fuck up a 3-on-1 break. The system didn't make you get Steph 2 fouls. The man got 0 points at halftime and you go into half tied. The system ain't do that. The system ain't make you when the lineup is Quinn Cook, Iggy, think Draymond was on the court, and Looney lose track of Klay Thompson on screens. The system ain't do that. You did that. You, the players, you did that. I think CP3 has a good thing here. If he can't get to the Lakers, I don't really see another. I think for Chris Paul, it should be only about winning rings. And I think that when you look at what happened with the Warriors, I think the Rockets will be another team that if we look at the Western Conference, right? And we look, obviously, you have AD with LeBron on the Lakers, so obviously, they would be the favorites for everybody for the most part. We got to see what they do with the rest of the roster, but I think most people would think that they're the favorites. But still, go back to my point with the Raptors. If we look at the past couple of years, right, when Mike left, the team that was set up to slide in that spot was the Knicks. The team that's set up to slide in that spot with the Warriors being compromised right now are the Rockets. They could beat, for the past, I think, 4 out of the last 5 years they've lost to the Rockets. The only other team they lost to was the Spurs with Kawhi in the East now. So if the Warriors gone, you would think, hey, we could slide in that spot. I personally think they should give it one more year. Allegedly, the relationship is unsalvageable, but I think they probably gonna have to salvage some shit. Hey, they're gonna have to lock in and duke it out or something like that. Go in the locker room and fight each other and get your differences out that way. Because I don't really see anywhere that Chris Paul can go that gives him a better, unless it's the Lakers, that gives him a better chance to win a ring right now. Again, I think the Lakers would give him a chance, but if I'm the Lakers, why do I want to absorb $41 million in cap? I'm kind of straight on that. I would rather just fill out the rest of the roster with key pieces, especially, and I'm super straight on that because Chris Paul always seems to get hurt. I can't afford Chris Paul getting hurt if I absorb $41 million in cap. We ain't got that much goddamn money. Now, we can go into luxury tax, but still, we ain't got that much goddamn money. We ain't got that much cap space. So, I don't really see anywhere else that gives Chris Paul a chance to win right now. You're not going to get somewhere like the Bucks. Plus, the Bucks retain Eric Bledsoe, so that's a no. We don't need a point guard. There's the Celtics, but if I'm the Celtics, why am I bringing in Chris Paul? I just had issues with Kyrie, a ball-dominant guard. I just had issues, even though I don't think Kyrie's the most ball dominant. I do think Kyrie can play off ball. I just think that Brad Stevenson's system didn't always fit Kyrie best, and there were a lot of people taking shots in Boston. I think there were like 6 people taking 10 or more shots a game. That's too many people shooting the ball. But yeah, you just had issues with Kyrie. Why am I bringing in a $41 million 35-year-old point guard with hamstring problems? I mean, I'd rather just re-sign Rozier at that point. Let me just sign Rozier back, bring him back, run him out there. I mean, when I ran Rozier and the young guys out there, we did get to the conference finals. We did. I mean, that did happen. Nah, I don't think that you should. I think people put a little bit too much stock in that because of and thought that because of what they did last year that they would repeat that same success this year, me included. I was sucking the juice too. I was drinking the juice. So, but yeah, I don't really see anywhere that gives Chris Paul a better chance. Sorry about that, guys. I don't really see anywhere that gives Chris Paul a better chance to win besides the Houston Rockets. So, I mean, hopefully they can go. Look, him and Harden can work out their issues. I don't think it's the system's fault. I think the system is fine. In theory, the system makes sense. Threes are worth more than twos. Mid-range jump shots, even though I love the mid-range game, I don't think the mid-range game should ever die. It is kind of the worst shot in basketball at times, especially when they're contested. If you're going to shoot a contested 2, you may as well shoot a contested 3. The less passes, you decrease your margin of error. You know, ideally, in theory, if we only pass the ball one time, it's hard to turn the ball over with just one pass. The defense, I mean, they signed a old defensive coach back that had them. I think they were like top 3 in defense the year before. They signed him back, and the defense got much better. I think after the All-Star break, they were like 16-3 or something like that. I think I don't quote me on that. But I do know that they were the best team in basketball after the All-Star break. I don't exactly remember what the record was, but I do remember they were the best team in basketball after the All-Star break. So, again, I don't think it's a system. I think what they have here is great. I also think with the Warriors being compromised the way that they're compromised, it's a golden opportunity for Houston to take that next step, and that next step for them would be the finals. Again, the only team you couldn't beat for the past 5 years is one of the greatest basketball teams ever. Like, there's really no shame in that. You know, everybody gives Harden shit for his playoff performances, but I mean, like, literally, the only people that he's come short against are the Warriors, who are one of the greatest teams to ever play basketball. I mean, I do not like the basketball team. I don't enjoy watching them play basketball, but they're still probably a top 10 team to play basketball. Not probably. They are a top 10 team to play basketball. That's who you couldn't get past. They're gone now. At least for next year, they are compromised. That team, that Warrior, Klay Thompson ain't walking through that door next year. Kevin Durant ain't walking through that door next year. Iggy walking through that door. Alfonso McKinney walking through that door. Draymond walking through that door. Steph by himself. I don't know who Steph 2 guard gonna be next year, but it ain't gonna be Klay. They talking about getting Dion Waiters right now. Allegedly, I saw a report. Thing from Bleacher Report. Said the Warriors are targeting Dion Waiters. Why, I don't know, but hey. So again, the only team that you couldn't get past is gone. I think it would be both wise of CP3 and Harden to work out their issues. And again, I think that if you can keep Austin Rivers, you have to keep Austin Rivers. I just think Austin Rivers should have more ball handling responsibilities. I think some of CP3's shots should just go to Austin Rivers. And I think that would fix a lot of things, especially with CP3 getting older. But, I mean, if he really wants out, I don't really see anywhere that gives him a better opportunity to win than the Lakers. And again, if I'm the Lakers, I'm kind of straight on that. So again, I personally think he's stuck with the Rockets. I think if they don't like each other that much, they need to go lock up in a locker room, settle it like men, come out, whatever. And, we go from there. Because, again, I think they have a real chance, man. I mean, look, like I said, it's like the East when Mike retired. Only team the Knicks couldn't get past was the Bulls with Michael Jordan. MJ not going to be there. MJ wasn't walking through that door. Right? So, in theory, if you've been that team that's been right there for the past couple of years, you slide on in. And it's yours now. So, again, man, I hope CP3 and Harden can work it out. It's not the system. There's nothing wrong with the system. I like watching them play basketball. They've actually been my favorite team to watch last year. And yeah, Pavy's Daily Hot Takes. Talk to you guys tomorrow.